Hi guys, I'm back. Today's the 20... Okay, let me restart. Okay. Hi guys, I'm back. Today is the 18th of July, 2021. Today I'm going to read Deuteronomy 18 to 22, Proverbs 18, and Psalm 51. Let's get started. The priests who are Levites won't receive any part of the land of Israel. That also applies to the whole tribe of Levi. They will eat the food offerings presented to the Lord. That will be their share. They won't have any part of the land the Lord gave the other tribes in Israel. The Lord himself is their share, just as he promised them. Anyone who sacrifices a bull or a sheep owes a share of it to the priest. Their share is the shoulder, the inside parts, and the meat from the head. You must give the priest the first share of the harvest of your grain, olive oil, and fresh wine. You must also give them the first wool you clip from your sheep. The Lord your God has chosen the Levites and their sons after them to serve him in his name always. He hasn't chosen priests from any of your other tribes. Sometimes a Levite will move from the town in Israel where he's living, he will come to the place the Lord will choose. He will do it because he really wants to. Then he can serve in the name of the Lord his God. He will be like all of the other Levites who serve the Lord. He must have an equal share of the good things they have. That applies even if he has already received money by selling things his family owned. You will enter the land the Lord your God is giving you. When you do, don't copy the practices of the nations there. The Lord hates those practices. The other things you must not do. Don't sacrifice your children in the fire to other gods. Don't practice any kind of evil magic at all. Don't use magic to try to explain the meaning of warnings in the sky or any other signs. Don't take part in worshipping evil powers. Don't put a spell on anyone. Don't get messages from those who have died. Don't talk to the spirits of the dead. Don't get advice from the dead. Then the Lord your God hates it when anyone does these things. The nations in the land he's giving you do these things he hates. So he will drive out those nations to make room for you. You must be without blame in the sight of the Lord your God. You will take over the nations that are in the land the Lord is giving. But listen to those who practice all kinds of evil magic. That you belong to the Lord your God. He says you must not do these things. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me. He will be one of your own people. You must listen to him. At Mount Horeb, you asked the Lord your God for a prophet. You asked him on the day you gathered together. You said, we don't want to hear the voice of the Lord our God. We don't want to see this great fire anymore. If we do, we'll die. The Lord said to me, what they are saying is good. I will raise up for them a prophet like you. He will be one of their own people. I'll put their words in his mouth. I'll tell them everything I command him to say. The prophet will speak in my name, but someone might not listen to what I say through the prophet. I'll hold that person responsible for not listening. But suppose the prophet dares to speak in my name, something I have not commanded, or he speaks in the name of other gods, then that prophet must be put to death. You will say to yourselves, how can we know that when a message hasn't been spoken by the Lord? Sometimes the prophet will announce something in the name of the Lord, and it won't take place or come true. And that's a message the Lord hasn't told him to speak. The prophet has dared to speak on his own authority, so don't be afraid of what he says. The Lord your God will destroy the nations whose land he is giving you. You will drive them out, and you will make your homes in their towns and their houses. When you do, set apart for yourselves 3 cities in the land. It's the land the Lord your God is giving you to take as your own. Figure out the distance, and then separate the land into 3 parts. Then anyone who kills another person can run into one of these cities for safety. They are in the land the Lord your God is giving you as your own. Here's the rule about a person who kills someone. That person can run to one of those cities for safety. The rule applies to anyone who kills a neighbor they didn't hate and didn't mean to kill. For example, suppose a man goes into a forest with his neighbor to cut wood. When he springs with his axe to chop down a tree, the head of the axe flies off, and he hits his neighbor and kills him. Then that man can run to one of those cities and saves his life. If he doesn't go to one of those cities, the dead man's nearest male relative might become very angry. He might chase the man. If the city is too far away, he might catch him and kill him. But the man running to the city isn't worthy of death, because he didn't hate his neighbor. That's why I command you to set apart for yourselves 3 cities. The Lord your God will increase the size of your territory. He promised your people of long ago that he would do. He will give you the whole land he promised them. But he will do it only if you are careful to obey all the laws I'm commanding you today. I command you to love the Lord your God. You must always live as he wants you to live. Suppose you are careful to obey, and the Lord your God gives you more land. Then you must set apart those 3 more cities. Do it to protect those not guilty of murder. Then you won't spill their blood in your land. It's the land the Lord your God is giving you as your own. But suppose a man hates his neighbor, so he hides amongst them. Then he attacks them and kills them, and he runs to one of those cities for safety. If he does, the elders of his own town must set him free. He must be brought back from the sea. He must be handed over to the dead man's nearest male relative. Then the relative will kill him. Don't feel sorry for him. He's killed someone who hadn't done anything wrong. Crimes like that must be punished in Israel. Then things will go well with you. Don't move your neighbor's boundary stone. They will set up by people who live there before you. It marks the border of a field in the land you will receive as your own. The Lord your God is giving you that land. You will take it out. Suppose someone is charged with committing a crime of any kind. Then one witness will be enough to prove that person is guilty. Every matter must be proved by the words of 2 or 3 witnesses. Suppose a witness who tells lies goes to court and brings his charges against someone. The witness says someone committed a crime. Then the 2 people in the case must stand in front of the law. He must stand in front of the priest and the judges who are in office at that time. So the judges must check out the matter carefully. And suppose the witness is proved to be lying. Then he has said something false in court against another Israelite. So do to the lying witness what he tried to do to the other person. Get rid of that evil witness. The rest of the people will hear about it. And they'll be afraid. They won't last. That's an easy thing to be done among them again. Don't be sorry for that evil person. The life must be taken for a life. An eye must be put out for an eye. A tooth must be knocked out for a tooth. A hand must be cut off for a hand, and a good foot for a foot. When you go to war against your enemies, you might see that they have horses and chariots. They might even have an army stronger than yours. But don't be afraid of them. The Lord your God will be with you. After all, he brought you up out of Egypt. Just before you go to battle, the priest will come forward. He'll speak to the army. He'll say, Men of Israel, listen to me. Today you are going into battle against your enemies. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Don't panic or be terrified. But the Lord your God is going with you. He'll fight for you. He'll help you win the battle over your enemies. The officers will speak to the army. They'll say, Has anyone built a new house and not started to live in it? Let him go home. If he doesn't, he might die in battle. Then someone else will live in his house. Has anyone planted a vineyard and not started to enjoy it? Let him go home. If he doesn't, he might die in battle. Then someone else will enjoy his vineyard. Has anyone promised to get married to a woman but hasn't done it yet? Let him go home. If he doesn't, he might die in battle. Then someone else will marry him. The officers will continue. Is anyone afraid or scared? Let him go home. Then the other soldiers won't lose hope too. The officers will finish speaking to the army. When they do, they'll appoint commanders over. Suppose you march out to attack a city. Before you attack it, offer to make peace with its people. So suppose they accept your offer and open their gates. Then force all the people in the city to be your slaves. They'll have to work for you. But suppose they refuse your offer of peace and prepare for battle. Then surround that city. Get ready to attack it. The Lord your God will hand it over to you. And when he does, kill the men with your swords. But you can take the women and children for yourselves. You can also take the livestock and everything else in the city. What you have captured from your enemies, you can use for yourselves. The Lord your God has given it to you. And that's how you must treat all the cities far away from you. Those cities don't belong to the nations that are nearby. But what about the cities the Lord your God is giving you as your own? Kill everything that breathes in those cities. Completely destroy them. Wipe out the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. That's what the Lord your God commanded you to do. If you don't destroy them, they'll teach you to do all the things the Lord hates. He hates the way they worship their gods. If you do those things, you'll sin against the Lord your God. Suppose you surround the city and get ready to attack it. And suppose you fight against it for a long time in order to capture it. Then don't chop down its trees and destroy them. You can eat their fruit, so don't cut them down. Are the trees people? So why should you attack them? But you can cut down trees that you know aren't fruit trees. You can build war machines out of their wood. You can use them until you capture the city you are fighting against. Suppose you find someone who has been killed. The body is lying in a field, the land the Lord your God has given you as your own. But no one knows who the killer was. Then your elders and judges will go out to the field. They'll measure the distance from the body to the nearby towns. The elders from the town that is nearest to the body will get a young cow. It must never have been used for work. It must never have pulled a load. The elders must lead it down into a valley. The valley must not have been farmed. There must be a stream flowing through. There in the valley, the elders must break the cow's neck. The priests who are sons of Levi will step forward. The Lord your God has chosen them to serve him. He wants them to bless their people in his name. He wants them to decide all cases that have to do with people arguing and attacking the others. Then all the elders from the town that is nearest to the body will wash their hands. They'll wash them over the young cow whose neck they broke in the valley. They'll say to the Lord, we didn't kill that person. We didn't see it happen. Accept this payment for the sin of your people, Israel. Lord, you have set your people free. Don't hold them guilty of spilling the blood of someone who hasn't done anything wrong. That will pay for the death of that person. So you will get rid of the guilt of killing someone who didn't do anything wrong. That's because you have done what is right in the Lord's eyes. Suppose you go to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God hands them over to you, and you take them as prisoners. Then you notice a beautiful woman among them. If you like her, you may marry her. Bring her home. Have her shave her head and cut her nails. Have her throw away the clothes she was wearing when she was captured. Let her live in your house and mourn the loss of her parents and for a full month. Then you can go to her and be her husband, and she will be your wife. But suppose you aren't pleased with her, then let her go where she wants to. You must not sell her. You must not treat her as a slave. You have already brought shame on her. Suppose a man has two wives. He loves one but not the other, and both of them have sons by him. But the oldest son is the son of the wife the man doesn't love. Someday he will leave his property to his son. When he does, he must not give the rights of the oldest son to the son of the wife he loves. He must give those rights to the oldest son. He must do it even though his oldest son is the son of the wife he doesn't love. He must recognize the full right of the oldest son. He must do it even though that son is the son of the wife he doesn't love. He must give that son a double share of everything he has. That son is the first sign of his father's strength, so the rights of the oldest son belong to him. Suppose someone has a very stubborn son. He won't obey his father and mother, and he won't listen to them when they try to correct him. Then his parents will take hold of him and bring him to the elders at the gate of his town. They'll say to the elders, this son of ours is very stubborn. He won't obey us. He eats too much. He's always getting drunk. Then all the people in his town will put him to death by throwing stones at him. Get rid of that evil person. All the Israelites will hear about it, and they'll be afraid to disobey their parents. Suppose someone is put to death for a crime worthy of death, and a pole is stuck through their body, and where people can see. Then you must not leave the body on the pole all night. Make sure you bury it that same day. Everyone who is hung on a pole is under God's curse. You must not make the land unclean. The Lord your God is giving it to you as your own. Suppose you see your neighbor's ox or sheep wandering away. Then don't act as if you didn't see it. Instead, make sure you take it back to its owner. Its owner might not live near it, or you might not know who owns it. So take the animal home with you. Keep it until the owner comes looking for it, and then give it back to you. Do the same thing if you find their donkey, coat, or anything they have lost. Don't act as if you didn't see it. Suppose you see your neighbor's donkey or ox that has fallen down on the road. Then don't act as if you did see. Help the owner get it up on the street again. A woman must not wear men's clothes, and a man must not wear women's clothes. The Lord your God hates it when anyone does this. Suppose you happen to find a bird's nest beside the road. It might be in a tree or on the ground. And suppose the mother bird is sitting on a little bird or on the edge. Then don't take the mother along with the little ones. You can take the little ones, but make sure you let the mother go. Then things will go well with you. You'll live for a long time. If you build a new house, put a low wall around the edge of your roof. Then you won't be responsible if someone falls off your roof and dies. Don't plant two kinds of seeds in your vineyard. If you do, the crops you grow there will be impure. Your grapes will also be impure. Don't let an ox and a donkey pull the same plough together. Don't wear clothes made out of wool and linen woven together. Make tassels on the four corners of the coat you wear. Suppose a man marries a woman and sleeps with her, but then he doesn't tell her. So he tells lies about her and says she's a bad woman. He says, I married this woman, but I slept with her. I discovered she wasn't a virgin. Then the young woman's parents must bring proof that she was a virgin. They must give the proof to the elders at the gate of the town. Her father will speak to the others. He'll say, I gave my daughter to this man to be his wife, but he doesn't like her, so now he's told her lies about her. He said, I discovered that your daughter wasn't a virgin, but here's the proof that my daughter was a virgin. Then her parents will show the elders of the town the cloth that has the blood on it. The elders will punish the man. He'll make him weigh out 2.5 pounds of silver. They'll give it to the young woman's father. That's because the man had said an Israelite virgin is a bad woman. She'll continue to be his wife. He must not divorce her as long as he lives. But suppose the charge is true, and there isn't any proof that the young woman was a virgin. Then she must be brought to the door of her father's house. There the people of the town will put her to death by throwing stones at her. She's done a very terrible thing in Israel. She has slept with a man before she was married. Get rid of that evil person. Suppose a man is seen sleeping with another man's wife. Then the man and the woman must both die. Get rid of those evil people. Suppose a man happens to see a virgin in town, and she has promised to marry another man, but the man he happens to see is leaves with her. Then you must take both of them to the gate of that town. You must put them to death by throwing stones at them. You must kill the young woman because she was in the town and didn't scream for help. And you must kill the man because he slept with another man's wife. Get rid of those evil people. But suppose a man happens to see a young woman out in the country, and she has promised to marry another man, but the man who happens to see her rapes her. But then only the man who has done that will die. Don't do anything to the woman. She hasn't committed a sin worthy of death. Our case is like the case of someone who attacks and murders a neighbor. The man found the young woman out in the country, and she screamed for help, but there wasn't anyone around who could save her. Suppose a man happens to see a virgin who hasn't promised to marry another man, and the man who happens to see her rapes her, but someone discovers them. Then the man must weigh out 20 ounces of silver. He must give it to her father. Then the man must marry the young woman because he raped her, and he can never divorce her as long as he lives. The man must not marry his stepmother. He must not bring shame on his father by sleeping with her. Proverbs 18. A person who isn't friendly lives out only for themselves. They oppose all good sense by starting fights. Foolish people don't want to understand. They take to lie and say only what they think. People hate it when evil comes, and they refuse to honor those who bring shame. The words of a person's mouth are like deep water, but the fountain of wisdom is like a flowing stream. It isn't good to favor those who do wrong. That would keep justice from those who aren't guilty. What foolish people say leads to arguing. They are just asking for a beam. The words of foolish people drag them down. They are trapped by what they say. The words of anyone who talks about others are like tasty bites of food. They go deep down inside you. Anyone who doesn't want to work is like someone who destroys. The name of the Lord is like a strong tower. Only people run to it and are safe. The wealth of rich people is like a city that makes them feel safe. Think of it as a city with walls that can't be climbed. If a person's heart is proud, they will be destroyed. So don't be proud if you want to be honored. To enter before listening is foolish and shameful. A cheerful spirit gives strength, even during sickness. But you can't keep going if you have a broken spirit. Those who shout to understand what is right get noticed. That's because the ears of those who are wise listen to it. A gift opens the door and helps the giver meet important people. In court, the first one to speak seems fair. And then someone else comes forward and questions him. Casting lots will put a stop to arguing. It will keep the strongest enemies apart. A broken friendship is hard to handle with a city with high walls around it. An argument is like the lock gates of a mighty city. Because of what they say, a person can fill their stomach. What their words produce can satisfy them. Your tongue is the power of life and death. Those who love to talk will eat the fruit of their words. The one who finds his wife finds what is good. He receives favor from the Lord. Poor people beg for mercy, but rich people answer in a mean way. A person who is unfaithful friends soon comes to him, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Psalm 51. God, have mercy on me, according to your faithful love. Because your love is so tender and kind, more power, all my Lord of Sacrifice. Wash away the evil things I've done, make me pure from my sin. I know the Lord of Sacrifice I've committed. I can't forget my sin. You are the one I've really sinned against, so I've done what is evil in your sight. You are right when you sentence me. You are fair when you judge me. I know I've been a sinner ever since I was born. I've been a sinner ever since my mother became pregnant with me. I know that you wanted faithfulness even when I was in my mother's body. You told me seek wisdom in that secret place. Sprinkle me with hyssop, then I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow. Let me hear you say, your sins are forgiven. Thou bring me joy and gladness. Let the body you have broken be glad. Take away all my sins. Wipe away all the evil things I've done. God, create a pure heart in me. Give me a new spirit that is faithful to you. Don't send me away from you. Don't take your Holy Spirit away from me. And give me back the joy that comes from being saved by you. Give me a spirit that obeys you so that I will keep going. Then I will teach your ways to those who commit lawless acts, and sinners will turn back to you. You are the God who said, I have committed murder. God, take away my guilt. Then my tongue will sing about how right you are, no matter what you do. Lord, open my lips so that I can speak. Then my mouth will praise you. You don't take delight in sacrifice. If you did, I would bring it. You don't take pleasure in burnt offerings. The greatest sacrifice you want is a broken spirit. God, you gladly accept a heart that is broken because of sadness over sin. May you be pleased to give Zion success. May it please you to build up the walls of Jerusalem. Then you will delight in the sacrifices of those who do what is right. Whole burnt offerings will bring delight to you, and bulls will be offered on your altar. Now that's done, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as you also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.